our universe had a starting point.
Okay.
I don't know about other universes, I can't really speak for them.
Agnosticism is a non-neutral belief system that travels a road toward a dead end. We've seen its 5 core beliefs crumble under their own assertions. So, we've merged onto the road of theism, specifically Christian theism, to see if that too suffers from these belief potholes. This kills 2 birds with 1 stone. If Christian theism's 5 underlying beliefs are consistent, if they are logically and rationally sound, and if what it claims about God and the Bible are undeniable, then the road to atheism is an automatic dead end. If it fails in any one of these accounts, then we can all agree to be atheists and be done with it. It's that simple. This is a pretty high stakes journey. In your book, you claim that Christian theism actually makes more sense than agnosticism, which we looked at before. Your case really rests on 5 foundational beliefs about reality. I want to go through them one by one to try to figure out whether or not this is credible. The first one is that the universe had a beginning. How is this a reliable assertion?
Even most atheists today acknowledge that our universe had a beginning.
I do believe that there was a starting point and there was a Big Bang.
Get that from several places. One of the most easy to understand is what we call the second law of thermodynamics, which says that over time closed systems become more chaotic and the energy that's within our universe becomes less usable. If you postulate a universe that has existed eternally, then the second law of thermodynamics would have done its thing by now. There would be no available energy to do any work. There wouldn't be a sun producing heat. There wouldn't be stars producing light. There would be nothing happening. It would be what's called the big chill. The very fact that the sun is still shining proves not only that the universe had a beginning, it had a relatively recent beginning.
Your second Christian theistic belief is that an eternal, uncreated creator must exist for the universe to exist now. Is this one reliable?
Let's go back to the atheists who believe our universe had a beginning. Now, they don't believe in God, so they believe this beginning had to be triggered by another universe.
I think that our universe had a starting point. I don't know about other universes, I can't really speak for them.
They theorize about this whole series of endless universes, but you've still got to back the question up to where did the whole thing get started?
So, I mean, it had to start somewhere.
Aristotle caught on to this centuries ago. He understood there had to be a first uncaused cause for anything to exist. He called it the unmoved mover. The Christian theist calls it Jehovah God.
If the universe has a beginning, does that prove that God exists?
It shows something.
So that means if you go back far enough, something had to start all that. Something has to be infinite. That's called the cosmological argument. Things are finite, and if things are finite, they always have a beginning. Trace it back, right? Something had to start all this. The third belief of Christian theism, the idea that the creator must be all-powerful. How is that reliable?
Well, that's reliable just from what we see in the universe, the sheer energy that's in the universe. The sun, the amount of energy it pumps out with every heartbeat, converting matter into energy. Christian theists believe that the source of this power has to be sufficiently powerful to cause it. So when we're talking about God, Creator God, we're talking about a God who possessed all the power we see in the universe in order to bestow that power upon the universe.
What does the complexity of all this say about the creator of this place?
It would say that, is an all-powerful being, all-knowing.
What Christians believe is that God exists and he exists outside of the world. He's not dependent on anything in the world because he existed before that and he exists above that. Do you agree with that or disagree with that?
All-powerful being doesn't need to rely on anything. Right. It's an all-powerful being. It's on a different spectrum that we can't even imagine.
I think there's something greater than us. I can't tell you what it is because these laws of physics, who created them? I think it's really weird that every time I drop something, it's gonna fall to the ground. I think that there's something bigger that causes stuff like that to happen.
Another foundational belief for Christian theism is that the creator must be supernatural. How do you make sense of a supernatural creator?
It ties back to the other underlying belief where we said the creator had to be eternally existing. If the creator existed before the universe existed, that he transcends time and space. It also goes back to why science can never prove or disprove God's existence. He has to exist outside the dimensions of our reality, so he is not bound by these things and is therefore by definition metaphysical. He's beyond the physical. Physics cannot prove him. You cannot put a metaphysical God into a mathematical formula.
Do you think that whatever creator or force or being is personal or impersonal?
Impersonal?
No, I think it's impersonal. I don't think that a personal force would have been able to create all of these impersonal forces around us.
A final belief that Christians have about reality is that the creator actually has to be personal. Can you unpack what that means?
You and I exist as persons. We have thoughts, we have intentions, and we take certain actions based on those thoughts. We do things we intentionally do. You and I have a relationship. You and I are communicating with each other right now. Christian theists believe that this is a reflection of the Creator who made us, that we interact and that we affect each other. And we do those things with thoughts. You and I are not just this composition of physical laws. We actually have personality. And the universe looks like an entity that was thought through by a person who intended to do certain things with it, not random chance. And I think you and I are proof of that.
Looking at these 5 beliefs, we see the rational and logical claims of Christian theism. No bumps, no potholes. Each belief appears to make perfect sense, and there's no scientific evidence that disproves them. But wait a second, how do we know that the eternal, uncreated, all-powerful, and supernatural creator is the God of the Bible? How do we know that it's not some other theistic God? Are we to automatically assume that the Bible holds all truth? The answer, next on Road Trip to Truth.